Law. Notes of the patch variety. This patch contains many changes discussed in the previous news post, including changes to Act 3, player balance changes, and new runes for attributes, as well as other improvements and fixes. Act 3, I'm going to speedrun some of this. So the Act 3 improvements were mostly about fixing things where like there were huge dead ends that led to events that didn't exist in the game yet. So like there's no reason for there to be a huge dead end to go there. But like it's not mainly that much like zone size changes. It's like fixing some big dead ends. Apex of Filth is more linear like Agarat, smaller and faster to navigate. Azite Bog is more rectangular. The boss is always at the end of it, according to the Q&A. They made the Barons bottleneck you through the waypoint, so you never miss the waypoint now. And they made the exit for ruins a little easier to find. And some of the really big variations of wetlands, like we had this patch, are gone with the entrances closer together. Extra soul cores, checkpoint changes, less levers because the zone's smaller. Made it so zones won't time out as fast as they did before, so you don't like lose a zone because you sidetrack to a different one. And they increase density to account for smaller zones, I assume. Bleeding no longer only considers life damage dealt. So now you can be bled as a hybrid build. Bleed still bypasses the ES though, so we're gonna have to worry about this a little bit on our build for now. We'll see. Good buff for the player bleed. CI makes you immune to bleeding. Most passive skill things that grant extra stun threshold now also grant additional ailment threshold. They added new modifiers on jewels. They didn't fix the old ones. Ha! So if you bought old jewels, you're fucked. Oh wait, no. Are they separate? Oh my god, they're separate. They're fucking separate instead of being hybrid. Ah, that is so fucked if you're relying on jewels for this. Hopefully this is like a typo in the patch notes and it's hybrid stun and ailment one mod. Because like making the passageway version also grant this, but then the jewels require a separate mod for it. It's the next line. That's just stuff to hold. Still rolls higher, but it doesn't have both. Unlucky. Arc now releases damaging pulses when touched enemies are hit. Familiar shock does a tiny bit more damage, but if they're shocked, the pulse will hit both targets, causing it to deal a little bit more damage. So it's like 60% more damage if they're shocked. Oh, is that only early game? Oh no, it's tiny bit more damage. But then like, if they're shocked, it can't shock, but if they're already shocked by something else, then you get this pulse mechanic that does a little more damage. Mechanically, Arc should be able to shock. Anything that I'm going to be using to shock the target is going to kill the target. I'm never pressing Arc to clear with this restriction. This should not be here. Eye of Winter now gains bonus damage passing through other orbs. Cool. Incinerate exposure increase. Mana Tempest now is better for all spells. Frostbolt is more AoE. Extra frost stuff, exposure stuff. Mana Remnant stuff, don't care. Wildfire will never be good as long as it's mechanically bad. Harried enemies can no longer evade your attacks. Cool. Rapid Assault Explosion now inflicts bleeding on hit. Has a bigger radius. Does way more damage. Spearfield does a little more damage at high level. Has a bigger duration. Herald of Blood no longer destroys the corpses. You can ritual sacrifice them. Temper weapon skill it does 1/3 of the damage it used to do. But it exerts 3 instead of 1 and channels a little faster. So if you're relying on it to clear and actually do damage for you, basically if you weren't massively overkilling with the proc, then like it's not really that much better. But if you do have a ton of damage and you are massively overkilling, then like the quality of life is through the fucking roof. It's so much better. Shield Wall can now be detonated by workers as slams. Armor Break is lower duration on players. And the 20% increased damage taken is gone from players. Stormcaller Arrow, impact radius is bigger. And it has built-in shock proliferation, which is a very minor buff for us. Not really. Usually anytime you press Stormcaller Arrow, like there's only one target still on the screen. So you don't really care. Lightning Rod does 20% more damage-ish. No, 30% more damage at all levels. Or 30, who knows. Lightning arrow chains farther, T-shot weird stuff. Glory thing. Inhibitor prevents you from using charges. Why is it tier 2 plus? I wish every single tier support gem was gone and it was just support gems. The font cannot expand with the other mechanics. This is sick. The front can continue expanding. The back will pause so that you don't outrun the mechanic because you started the strongbox. Super good. Strongbox does not pause daily when they're opened. We get that in PB1 though. So yeah, the short answer is they're aware, and probably, maybe, we'll see. We'll see. That instantly got posted in their little guild Discord by Olfub. Because like that in PB1 would be really fucking good. We've already seen all this in the earlier post for the campaign changes, the nerfs to campaign stuff, changed how minion respawns work so it's a little bit less punishing when you're staggered deathing everything. Finished adding mods to all runes for weapons. I look forward to seeing what these are. You get a blank rune in the campaign, which is sick. Extra things. 3 new types of runes for attributes. Adept, Robust, Resolve. It says fix early game requirement issues. I wonder if that means there's not going to be greater versions of them, or like what that is. We'll see. Like my guess is 5, 7, 10. If there are 3, if it's only 5 and doesn't go higher than that, then it's kind of shitty. But like my guess is like 5, 7, 10, or like if it's only 1 of each type, just 10 of that type. Last year's plus 6. 6, 8, 10 then maybe. So it's a little bit more even. Makes sense. Those are good numbers. I like those. During endgame, yeah, rare show up on that map at all times. God bless. A fixed rune in Titan Grotto. I don't know where that is. You get more whetstones and armor scraps in the quarry. I love that little self-farm area for those. I don't know what this is. I think this is the gold boss. The charges will hopefully push you to the side instead of dragging you with them. Nerfed Wrathbreaker in the map version as well. Added light into XL so there's likely to lose track of them. Good. These guys don't have health bars, so like it was like hard to keep track of where they were sometimes. It was kind of annoying. Further improvements to the pushes of various monsters. Read less pushing. God bless. Nice. They fixed the infinite essence. This thing was doing damage in a really weird way, like totally not aligned with the visual. This killed, I think, Sarge once and almost killed me. This is not a real patch note. It's a typo, I promise. I know. Fix a bug where a force field could appear in the middle of the boss arena. A force field. So no Colossus fixes? I think Colossus works the way they want him to now. Like, he just hits hard as fuck. As the week wraps up, we've pulled together a list of changes we're targeting for deployment in a patch mid-next week. We've been busy making improvements to PoE 2. Here's what's on the way. One of the most requested features we've had is the ability to change Ascendancy classes. However, something that was important to us is to make sure that while it can be done, it requires some level of effort. We've implemented it in the following way. Redoing a trial allows you to reselect which class you have chosen at the Ascension device, but only if the trial would grant you the number of points you already have. So you have to do level 4 respec to do if you have 8 points. In order to respec your 70 points, you must have 0 points allocated in it. But you can now open the reset window at Babula or the Trial Master who are shown next to the Ascension device. So you can unspec with Babula after you kill the boss and then click it. Ultimate instead of 7 chambers and thus grant 4 points, giving them from level 55 down from 60. Oh, they drop at lower levels so that they're in line with Sanctum. Wait, I'm confused. What is the level of effort? Isn't this just the same way you've always respect? Except you can't do it in normal lab, you have to do it in Uber lab. In-game changes. An unintentional problem with tower maps and hideout maps that they don't currently spawn the rare monsters for the clear condition. Due to this, they also don't drop the extra map that is designed to allow for guaranteed sustain. We added extra rares to tower and hideout maps, and also the extra map drop that can come from the final hour kill. Not required. Badass. Some of the tower map layouts felt really good to clear to me. Like, some of them did. They had like good density. Crafting changes. As each new tier is unlocked, we're removing the lower runes from the drop pool. To stop you from getting spammed with lesser runes at high levels, we'll just drop rates so that occurs so that you get more reasonable number of total runes. Basically, so instead of having to pick up lesser runes to upgrade when you're in high tier maps, you just will get higher tier ones instead at a similar rate. We're adding the ability to add sockets to scepters and adding mods to some talismans or scepters. Minions shouldn't exist, they're stupid and dumb and bad. Totem changes. We've had quite a few reports of totems not serving in endgame due to not getting as much alerts as the player does. Made the following changes. Totems start getting resist from 15 upwards to 75% at set 20. So totems are now resist capped for free. And then Ironwood lets you get some extra max res. Cool. Shard Scavenger. Shard Scavenger Reservation wasn't doing enough to be sold to most players, so we made the following change. Shard Scavenger, in addition to its current effects, and also restores 1 coordinates for all of your grenades, and grants a buff for 2 seconds that prevents your bolts consuming bolts. While active, consuming freeze, shock ignite, or flare broken armor, reloads your crossbow. Can only happen once every 6.5 seconds. You have to consume a mechanic, and it gives you auto reload and 1 thing of grenades back. And then now it also gives you 2 seconds of no consumption. This might actually be relevant for builds that aren't mine. But like, we don't care about this for us. Because like, you have to be playing a build that consumes things, which we don't do. My skills in the gym mechanic tab. When using an uncut skill gem, it was often annoying to find the skills you were using from off classes to level up. In order to fix that, we've added the new tab to the gym mechanic window that shows you all the gems you have equipped. This list of the changes are just the changes that have been made so far. They're not the only changes we're investigating. They do not represent a full list. I love how this is included in everything now. And I'm glad. Wish this is good. I really hope they buff the campaign loot. And like, not by a little bit. Like, campaign loot needs to be like genuinely massively buffed when it comes to raw currency. Like, triple the amount of exalts minimum.